Hi, this is Amelia from AmeliaAJohnson.com, where passionate pet people partner with purpose for pleasure and profit. Have you been wanting to bring a Labrador Retriever puppy into your home? If so, I have 3 very important tips for you, so stay tuned. Now, in the meantime, subscribe to this channel and ring the little bell so that you get notified whenever I upload a new video for you. I was talking to a gentleman the other day who had trained a Labrador Retriever as a young man, and this was decades ago. He said that Lab was a very big dog, and 40 years ago, Labs were going about 100 pounds. This man said his Lab was the best hunter. He really enjoyed training that dog, and the dog loved to hunt. But because this man had to make some lifestyle changes, he had to find a new home for that Labrador. And he tried to place it with another hunter who liked his dog and took the dog out hunting with him in his boat. But he came back and said, "I'm sorry, your Lab is just too big for my boat. I love your dog. He's got a great temperament and he's got great drive. He's a wonderful hunter, but he's too big." So today our gun dogs go about 50 to 75 pounds depending upon whether they're female or male. And why has this evolution occurred? Mainly because the Labs are no longer being kept out in kennels as they once were, but now they're coming into the house, becoming a part of the family, and sleeping on the couches. In fact, I know a couple of breeders that have purchased nice leather couches specifically for their Labradors. Some hunters still believe that big dogs are needed to brave the 2-foot waves that they're asked to go into and to carry back the 10-pound geese. However, Tom goes on in an article in a Waterfowl magazine that he believes it's more a function of drive of that Labrador, whether they are going to be able to be a great hunter. And in that case, size does not matter. So pedigree matters in order to build that drive into that puppy through genetics. And yes, training can develop confidence in a puppy when they're first learning to dive into those waves, but unless they have the heart for it, the pedigree that brings out the drive, the hunting desire in that puppy, they're not going to be great hunters. So that's tip number 1. You want to look for the drive in the puppy. As a friend of a Labrador Retriever breeder, I would often do puppy temperament tests for her when the puppies were 7 weeks of age. And this would help the breeder determine the temperament, the intelligence of the puppy, and somewhat the athletic ability of the puppy so that she could put them into the proper homes. Perhaps an elderly person wanted a puppy, and then she would want a more laid-back puppy for that family. A very busy puppy would go into a family with children, that type of thing. She felt she could be successful placing the puppies through this puppy temperament test that she had adapted. Now, Tom, the author of that article, doesn't feel that only puppy temperament tests are the way to go. Instead, he says you should look at the parents and the grandparents and see what their hunting abilities were if you're wanting a hunter. Or if you're wanting a therapy dog, again, go back to the pedigree. And if you can meet these parents and the grandparents, then you have a better idea of whether that puppy is going to fit into your home. So now let's consider the health issues of the Labrador Retrievers. You should know by now that most breeders do heart tests, elbow tests, and hip tests, and eye tests. so that they're not passing things on through their bloodlines that shouldn't be there. They want to be breeding the healthiest puppies possible. There have been 2 different types of Labrador Retrievers that you may see, and these are the American bred Labradors that tend to be more narrow and have often been the ones that you see on the hunting scene, or the English version, which are shorter and stouter and have a broader head. Puppies can run into joint and tissue issues because they grow so rapidly. So diet is something that you have to take into consideration. Puppies grow very rapidly, and you as a puppy owner will have the tendency to want to run with that puppy to, get all that vim and vinegar out so that you can have some rest as the puppy rests. But you must be very, very careful with this, because the growth plates of most breeds of dogs don't close until they're 18 months of age. So be sure to ask your breeder how much you can do with your puppy at what age, so that you're not injuring your puppy in any way. If you're a hunter, you know that you're going to be asking that puppy to jump in and out of the back of your truck and to run along pavement and to run long distances. So again, don't ask too much of your puppy too soon. Now, getting back to the size of a Labrador, these hunters are notorious for buying wonderful boats, spending a lot of money on boats and on the calls and on all the other types of equipment that goes with hunting. But they may not be as likely to spend as much on food. And the larger the dog you have, the more it costs to feed, especially if you're feeding a lower quality food, because you have to feed more of it. So no matter what size Labrador you get, be sure to feed a high quality food. And it has been proven that the higher the quality of the food, the better the development of the dog, and you will find some breeders extending their guarantee, their health guarantee on the puppy, because you are feeding a food that they recommend. Consider when you feed a better food, it's like putting a better gas in your car. It will run better. So if you are buying a Labrador Retriever puppy, there are 3 traits that you want to consider that far outweigh the size of the puppy that you want. This is number 1, drive. The drive is something that comes from the parents, not only from the training, but mainly from the parents. Number 2, intelligence. Again, pedigree matters. And number 3, athleticism. So you can determine how active this puppy will be and whether it will have a bright and long future if you do not ask too much of the puppy when it is too young and the growth plates have not closed. So yes, size matters, and only you can determine how that puppy will fit into your life, whether as a therapy dog, a hunting dog, or just a companion that sleeps on your couch. Hope you found this information valuable. So you subscribe to this channel and stay tuned for the next video. We'll see you then.